I just got back from a 4-day trip with some amazing friends, early season into the Canadian Rockies, 70 kilometers to a beautiful frozen alpine lake, and I have yet to unpack. I haven't even done laundry. I just kind of at the trailhead changed and strapped my dirty clothes to the top of the pack. So we'll actually go through the things I wore as well. So that's good. This is my Outdoor Research air cap. I love this hat. It goes with me on every hike. And then for the other things that I wore, I've got my Darn Tough socks, which don't stink, which is good because that means they're doing their job with the merino wool. Then I have my Woods sun hoodie. This, again, found on a clearance rack somewhere, and I love this thing. I will never hike again without a hood. And also, I actually really like the thumb holes. I didn't think I would, but they do a good job of allowing me to keep my hands fairly covered, as well as they allow my trekking pole strap to not rub against my hand the wrong way. Then I have my Decathlon MT 500 men's trekking pants with the fly still undone. And these are pretty new actually, and a staple for mine. The pocket's coming apart a bit, but I love these. On one side I carry my phone on the pocket, and on the other zip-up pocket I carry a pocket knife, a lighter, and some chapstick. Then I get to my mid-layer. This is a Columbia PFG Performance Fishing Gear hoodie that I found. It's super light fleece that I wear basically when I'm either just at camp and it's a little cool, or when I'm hiking and it's cold. So this will keep me kind of that mid-active warmth that I like, that everybody likes. Then the important parts. On the outside of the pack, I have my sit pad. This is a fantastic tool in the backcountry. You can use it to fan your fire. You can use it to sit on when you take a break. You can use it like as a floor mat when you're getting changed, so that your feet are in and out of your shoes. I know I lay mine at the foot of my hammock so that when I'm in and out of my hammock, I don't get my feet all dirty. But when you're sitting down for a longer period of time or you're at camp, it's quite nice to pull out a chair. So that's in my other outside pocket. I have a chair, which I love bringing with me. It's quite nice to be able to sit around the fire, or even if you're at a longer break spot, to sit down, not on the ground or on a stump, and be able to rearrange where you're sitting and things. Then on the other two pockets outside, I have 2 smart water bottles. And those are just for filling filtered water into. In my side pocket, again, something I wear is my Dirty Girl gaiters. They are fantastic for basically just keeping little rocks and debris out of your shoes as you're hiking. Keeps your socks nice and clean, keeps your feet nice and irritant free, which is nice. As I keep going on the side pockets, I have my poop kit. My poop kit consists of, and I don't have video of this, but there's a reason for that, some hand sanitizer, some Wizzy wipes, as well as my Vargo Dig trowel. This comes in super handy for getting around roots and gnarly things that might be in the ground that you need to get around to get a hole dug. And digging a hole in a hurry is never fun, so it's nice to have something that can do it well. Then again, on the outside of my pack, on the other side pocket, I have my tarp and my stakes. This is the Hammock Gear Quest tarp, I believe. It came with the Wanderlust Hammock Gear kit that I use for my hammock setup. I love this hammock tarp because it sets up super easily. Basically, you step up to one tree, you clip it on. You step up to the other tree, you clip it on. It just wraps around and clips to itself, and you can tension it right from there. Then you unroll the snake skin. It flops out nice and clean, and then you stake it down with these. It's fantastic. Other stuff in the side pockets. Last thing is my saw. If you're going into the backcountry, I highly suggest carrying a saw. This one is like $10. It's by Coglins. I don't know. The name's even rubbed off from being used. But this is not a great one, but it's a cheap one and a light one. I'll probably upgrade pretty soon after this trip. It's nice to have lots of wood for a nice fire. All right, that's the side pockets. Then the other things that are clipped to the bag is my Garmin InReach Mini 2. I don't go on any trips into the backcountry without this, ever. As well as the other item that I will always bring with me is a can of bear spray. If you do go into bear country, bring bear spray with you. Also on the outside, I have some cheap Walmart Ironman sunglasses. I try not to bring my good ones into the mountains because they will get wrecked. All right, so that is most of the stuff that's clipped onto the outside, except for this. I've actually tried this last couple of trips. It is the thru-pack bum pack, I think it's called, without the waistband on it. I've been using it to clip to my chest sternum strap on my backpack and trying to see if I can replace the hip belt pockets on my pack with it. Inside it, basically I've been using it for snacks and like a ditty bag. I've got some snacks I didn't eat on the hike out. Honey stinger, fruit bars. And then I've got some stuff that I use at camp no matter what that I want to have. I've got my headlamp, I've got headphones. I've got actually the waistband for that in case I want to use it like a bum pack, as well as some pocket soap from Sea to Summit in case I need to wash my hands, some extra Wizzy wipes, which I dipped into this trip. I lost the game, let's just say that. I lost the game multiple times. I also keep some fire starter. That's all that made it back in that pack. But then we get to the outside back pocket. This has got a lot of stuff jammed in it, and it's kind of the stuff that I want easy access to throughout the day. These side pockets typically are the things, and the chest pocket are the things I'm going to need quick, easy access to. And this back pocket means I will have to stop and take off my pack to get to it. So the things that are in there are, right now I've got a bandana. I think usually I keep that on my front pocket, but it made it to the back on the way home, so I'll put that in a laundry pile. And then I have my Be Free with my HydroPack 2-liter bladder. If you've never seen these or never used these, it's a water filter. Essentially all you do is you unscrew the cap, you fill the bladder with water, you screw that back on, you flip the lid, and then you pour that filtered water into one of your smart water bottles or whatever you're using to drink water out of. And then after that in my pack, I have my hammock straps. We'll talk about my hammock later, closer to the end of the video, but I keep my hammock straps in the back pocket in a Ziploc bag just because I can get to them quickly, set up when it's raining, when it's wet. I can set my tarp up first, set my hammock straps up. Before I even open my bag, I can be 90% of the way set up. So I keep those there, and this came popping out with it. Whenever I set up my hammock, I also set up my hang time hook, courtesy of Maddie Outdoors. Thank you, sir. And this is fantastic. We got stuck in a couple of different spots where it was raining, and basically this clips to the ridge line of your hammock, and you clip your phone in it, and maybe in the backcountry you watch some shows that you might have downloaded to your phone, or listen to some music or a podcast or an audiobook or something. So it's fantastic to bring with you. After that, we're going to get into my rain jacket. This is a 4-class Decathlon. It's basically just a pullover 3/4 zip Quechua brand rain jacket. I like it because it packs down really small. It's super simple. There's no moving parts or pieces that it can break down or fall apart or do anything. One thing to know about rain gear in the backcountry, it will not keep you dry. None of them will, especially if you're hiking in the mountains and you're moving and you're working up a sweat. You're going to get wet inside this anyway. So the primary purpose of this gear is more to keep me warm than it is to keep me dry. So I'm okay being wet. It's just a matter of being warm at the same time. After that, I've got actually some waterproof mittens. I've never used these outside of winter over top of some other mitts, but they're quite nice. They worked out really well in a spot where we were getting some pretty cold wind and rain, and they're just a nice waterproof mitt. They're a size too big to fit over some winter mitts as well, but I was glad I brought them. Glad I had them on me for this trip for sure. Then going further into the back pocket, there's the things I will need less frequently because they're buried in the bottom of this. The first one is my rain pants. I have never even put these on. And again, like I said, they're not going to keep me dry, but they exist in this pack only in case I am cold and wet and I want to get warm and my legs just can't get warm. So this becomes kind of my outer layer. I'll throw on my sleeping pants and I'll throw my hiking pants over top of that, and then I'll put these on, and then I'll give me 3 layers, including one that's waterproof and windproof to keep me warm and dry. The next item in here is going to be my first aid kit. I'm not going to go through the details of this. Maybe I'll do a video of it one day, but there's enough videos out there of first aid kits. And then I have a Ziploc bag with a battery bank, as well as kind of a universal cord. It's got micro USB and a lightning adapter so that I can charge my phone and my headlamp, because the Nikkor headlamp is actually USB micro instead of USB-C. Then at the very, very bottom of that pack, I have some bug spray. This is not actually Muscal, but it's in a Muscal bottle. It's the Icaridin, I forget the brand, Guardian, I think. But it's just poured into this so that it's a little smaller, as well as some SPF 30 sunscreen in case I need it. And that takes care of that pocket. So now we have nothing on the outside of the pack, and all we have left is the things that I kind of never need access to throughout the day, or I need access very, very rarely to until we get to camp. So I'll roll this up and we'll see what's in here. The first one is lunch. This is something I didn't get to on our last hike. It is some Thai chili salmon packets with some wraps. We got to the trailhead around 11:30 and I just drove out and bought lunch. So maybe I'll keep the tuna and get rid of the wraps or use them for something else. After that, we have my Ursack Major, the Major XL, I think. This is my bear bag. It's full of some things that are left. This is some breakfast that I didn't eat and some snacks. I'll leave those for later, as well as a couple extra meals of ramen noodles in case we got stuck out there longer than we thought. Some more snacks that I didn't eat. Another breakfast I didn't eat, and apparently I don't eat very many bars. I like the other fingery snacks. And then I have a bag with some coffee and some tea, as well as some Crystal Light for some variety in my water. Then I have my Toaks titanium spoon. When you have those backpacking meals, those long bags, it's nice to have a long-handled spoon to get in and out of there so you don't get food all over your hands and just spill less. And then the last thing inside this bag is my cook kit. And this is the Toaks 550 milliliter cook kit. And inside that, I have my Sea to Summit 250 milliliter mug. That is basically just for me to drink tea or coffee out of. In the mornings, this 550 is about the perfect size to boil some water for breakfast and a cup of coffee. So that's what I use that for. Also in there, I have a lighter and my BRS 3000 stove. You'll see these on every ultralight hiking YouTube video that you'll ever run across. As well as a can of fuel and a cloth to wipe out the pot with. Basically, these things are bulletproof, bomb-proof. They last forever. And to use these, if you're not familiar with these stoves, all you really do is you screw the cap on, you light them, you turn them on, and you fill the pot with water and let the pot boil. Once that pot's boiled, you're good to pour it into your dehydrated meal or your cup or whatever it is you're going to use to eat or drink. and then you're good to go. It's a pretty simple process with very few moving parts and very few things that can go wrong. That's one of the things I love about it. Getting back to the earth sack, this is essentially a bear-proof bag for your food storage. You want to keep all your food and smelly items in here, and you want to tie this to a tree far away from you. To use this, essentially what you do is you cross these two lines. You then cinch this tight, tie a double overhand knot on the top of this. Then you go and you tie this to a tree in whatever fashion you're used to. There's lots of different ways to tie it. That is the earth sack. Then, this normally goes inside my dry bag. This is just a merino buff that I use as a toque. Keeps my eyes covered when I'm sleeping and keeps my head warm because I don't have a hood. Then I get into the items in my dry bag. Essentially, I have a Nilo Flume pack liner in here that keeps everything inside here dry. First thing inside here is my insulation. This is the Decathlon, you know the puffy that everyone likes, the down one? This is the synthetic version, and I wanted to make sure I had a synthetic one because I knew I was going to get wet regularly. I don't mind carrying the extra weight, and I actually really like the color of this and the look of this better than the down version, except for the hood. The hood doesn't have a cinch. That's one thing I don't like about it, but keeps you warm and cozy. Underneath that, I have my hammock. This is the Hammock Gear 11-foot hammock. We'll get into the details of that close to the end of the video. I just want to tell you guys a little bit more detail about that. And then inside there, I have my underquilt. This is the Outdoor Vitals 15-degree underquilt, full length, as well as my over or top quilt. Same thing. This is Outdoor Vitals 15 degrees top quilts. Next item up is my sleep clothes. These are super important because I don't want that underquilt and top quilt and hammock to be covered in the things that I wore all day. So this is just an actual like a merino wool base layer from Costco made by Paradox. It was cheap. It's not super lightweight, but it's super comfy and super cozy. Gives you all the right things you need. I'll wash those. And then at the very bottom, I have my socks to sleep in. They're just a little bigger, a little warmer. And then I have the other pair of socks that I was hiking in. I always bring 2 pairs of socks. That way if one gets super wet, I can flip it and dry it while the other ones are being worn. And these ones smell a little bit more than the other ones, but that's because they've been packed inside there for a while. And that is the end of the gear loadout. Last but not least, this is the Superior Wilderness Designs Long Haul 50. Some minor modifications on my end, nothing permanent, but it's super comfortable pack, super heavy duty, does everything I need it to do and more. I'm going to put a link up here to the first time I got this pack, kind of introduction and overview if you want any details on the backpack. I'm also going to link up here a video for the hammock and how to set up a hammock with all the gear that I just used. That way you guys have a little more information on kind of this main piece of equipment and potentially something you might not know about with hammocks. Outside of that, my name's Nathan. This is Backpacker-ish. Like, comment, subscribe, or don't, whatever.